What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And let's go ahead and talk about Matrix Resurrections. Now, I know there's been a lot of people on YouTube that have talked about this one. And I figured, you know what? I did watch it on HBO Max. And I was like, you know what? Let me dive in and, put out my opinion on what I thought about this film. Because, honestly, I'm not the biggest Matrix fan. I mean, I did enjoy the first Matrix film, but they kind of went downhill for me by the time we got to the third film. Now, and honestly, I've only seen probably all those films one time, and I did not go back and revisit them before I did check this one out. But I'm like, you know what? It's Keanu Reeves, and I'm a big Keanu fan, and really happy, that he is doing well in his career. John Wick definitely resurrected his career, no pun intended with resurrections, but definitely brought him back to the forefront. And now having a chance to go back and revisit and be Neo once again in the in the Matrix, definitely you know worth checking it out just for Keanu alone. But how was the film? Okay, because I've seen a lot of people who are either you really like it or you really hate it. Now, like I said, I'm not the biggest Matrix fan because it does, when you get to this film, it does seem, the things that were all revolutionary, visually and every with action and stuff, and how it looked back in the day, those things are like almost like common now. So there's really nothing new that's brought to the table with this film. Um, I'm honestly, there are those films where you feel like, especially with you know a day release on HBO Max and in theaters, it's definitely one of those films that I don't feel like I would have had to see in theaters, and that's just my honest opinion. I don't feel like it had to be seen in theaters. And honestly, there are parts in this film that don't feel like a theatrical, like a theatrical film. Doesn't feel there's nothing doesn't feel special. Is it a bad film? I wouldn't say it's a bad film. It's not a great film either. I'm gonna be like in the minority with this because I'm one of those people who are kind of like in the middle with this one. From a scale 1 to 10, I'd probably go right in the middle with this. Me, a good 5, maybe 5.5, just for some of the action that does take place. And like I said, because Keanu Reeves is in this. Now we also have Carrie-Anne Moss back as Trinity. She's not in the film a lot, but when she is, you definitely still feel that chemistry between her and Neo. Now, this film, and I think one of the big gripes that people have with this film, a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of talking in this film. Not There's still a lot of, there still is a good amount of action, but this is a dialogue driven film. Absolutely, hands down. And, you know, is that a bad thing? Well, for a film like The Matrix, it could be a little bit too much. You don't want to see so much put into the dialogue. You want to see, you know what you're there for. You're there for the visuals. You're there for the action. And, the story can get kind of all over the place at times with The Matrix when you're trying to explain to somebody. And this film does go a little bit, over the top with, how, not really spoilers, but how Neo and Trinity are in this film. If you've seen the third film, how they are brought into this film. And it just seems a little bit, I don't know, like a little bit, it could have been written a little bit better. Like I said, it's not a terrible film and it's not a great film. For me, it's a right down the middle, a 5. And, it's a shame to put it at that mark, but unfortunately for me, especially not being a big Matrix fan, and there are some flashbacks, this is a fan service film as far as, showing some flashbacks to previous films. But like I said, if you have HBO Max, I don't feel it's a film, unless you're a diehard Matrix fan, I don't feel it's a film that you need to rush out to the theater to see. I think if you have HBO Max, perfectly fine. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And, I did stop it here and there quite a bit because it did drag on in some scenes. So, but overall, still, I mean, if you have HBO Max, definitely check it out. If you're a diehard fan, go go check it out in the theater, you know. But I've also heard some diehard fans who are very disappointed with this one. So, but as I say, make the decision, you know, on your own. Like I said, for me, it's a 5 out of 10. So, like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I will catch you in another episode. Take care.